The Absurdist Files, the stupidest things people bought during Black Friday sales. Every year on the fourth Friday of November, something extraordinary happens across America. Entire cities wake up before dawn, gather in parking lots like migrating birds, and voluntarily fling themselves into a ritual of chaos known as Black Friday. On paper, it's a day of discounts. In reality, it's a psychological experiment conducted on a national scale, one that consistently proves humanity should not be exposed to the words limited time only. The moment automatic doors slide open, rational behavior evaporates. People sprint toward discounted appliances with the determination of Olympic athletes chasing gold. Shopping carts become battering rams. Perfectly respectable adults transform into economists of madness, calculating the moral value of elbowing a stranger to save $12 on a blender. But lurking beneath the stampedes and the doorbuster hysteria is a quieter, stranger truth. People will buy absolutely anything on Black Friday. Not because they need it, not because it's useful, but because the tag says 75% off. And logic isn't invited to this holiday. Every year, stores report purchases so baffling, so impractical, so cosmically stupid, they defy every known principle of human decision-making. We're talking about items no one should own, items no one can explain, items whose only purpose is to make future archaeologists question our civilization entirely. Today, we open the file on the stupidest things people bought during Black Friday sales. Inside, you'll find tales of impulse, confusion, regret, misplaced ambition, and prices too low for the human brain to resist. Fasten your seatbelts. The descent into consumer absurdity begins now. 1. The 5 Toaster Strategist. Every Black Friday, at least one shopper decides they need multiple toasters, despite owning a perfectly functional one at home. One woman famously bought 5 identical toasters because they were 70% off, and you never know when guests might want simultaneous toast. Her family later discovered she didn't even like toast. She just liked a deal. The toasters now sit unopened in her garage, stacked like chrome monuments to impulsive savings. If your appliances outnumber your reasons, you didn't shop, you panicked. 2. The bulk toilet plunger guy. A man in Ohio once bought 23 toilet plungers during a Black Friday sale, explaining he didn't want to be unprepared for emergencies. When asked what kind of plumbing disaster he was envisioning, he replied, "I don't know, but it was $2 each." Neighbors confirm he lives alone and flushes responsibly. His basement now resembles a plunger armory, ready for the world's least glamorous apocalypse. When your disaster planning involves rubber suction cups, priorities need review. 3. The 12-gallon mustard lady. One shopper proudly rolled out of a wholesale store with 12 gallon-sized tubs of mustard, purchased only because the sale sign used the phrase, limited stock. She later admitted she doesn't particularly like mustard, but thought future me might change. Her fridge rejected the load, her pantry imploded, her family begged her to stop buying condiments in bulk. If your discount forces others to question your personality, you bought the wrong thing. 4. The mystery box catastrophe. A young man bought 6 mystery boxes from an electronics store, believing they contained gadgets. Instead, he received 3 broken phone cases, 1 CD nobody listens to, a single sock, and a promotional pen. He returned the next day asking for a refund, only to discover mystery boxes are non-refundable due to their mysterious nature. He is now the proud owner of the universe's worst loot boxes. Never trust a deal that literally warns you it might be trash. 5. The 6 slow cooker household. One family purchased 6 slow cookers because the sale made each cheaper than lunch. Despite having one slow cooker already, they formed a line of crock pots across their kitchen counter, joking they could run a stew-based restaurant. Weeks later, all 6 remained unused, while their original sat alone, doing its job flawlessly. If your kitchen looks like a soup factory after Black Friday, something went wrong. 6. The lifetime supply of light bulbs. A man in Florida bought a 40-year supply of light bulbs because they were practically giving them away. He filled an entire closet with boxes, estimating he now owns more bulbs than his local hardware store. His wife pointed out they plan to move next year, and the bulbs will cost more to transport than they originally saved. When your discount becomes a logistical burden, the deal bought you. 7. The giant teddy bear that ate a living room. A teenager purchased a 12-foot teddy bear because it was 80% off and looked lonely. Upon delivery, the bear consumed half the living room, blocked the TV, and caused the family dog to develop trust issues. No one sits on the couch anymore because the bear occupies it like a soft, judgmental landlord. If your purchase has territorial dominance, rethink your priorities. 8. The salad spinner army. One shopper bought 10 salad spinners because they were buy one, get one free, accidentally creating an inventory that could outfit a small restaurant. When asked why she needed so many, she simply shrugged and said it felt illegal not to buy them. Her friends now receive salad spinners as birthday gifts, whether they want them or not. If your generosity is powered by panic buying, expect confused birthdays ahead. 9. The smart fridge without Wi-Fi. A man proudly bought a discounted smart fridge, only to discover his home doesn't have Wi-Fi strong enough to operate it. He now owns a refrigerator that constantly flashes error messages demanding connection, like a needy digital ghost. Eventually, he turned off the smart features and uses it as a regular fridge, making his $1,200 deal the world's most expensive sticker holder. If your appliance is smarter than your house, you didn't save money, you lost a debate. 10. The 100-pack of assorted chargers. A college student purchased a bundle of 100 assorted phone chargers, assuming at least one would fit her phone. None of them did. The pack included outdated connectors last used during the Stone Age of electronics, plus several cables whose purpose scientists still debate. She now hands them out as abstract art supplies. If not a single item in a giant bundle works for you, congratulations, you bought chaos. 11. The broken TV stampede purchase. During one Black Friday opening rush, a crowd sprinted toward a stack of discounted TVs, knocking half of them to the floor before anyone could grab one. A man still bought a cracked 55-inch screen because he believed he could probably fix it with tape. He carried it home like a war trophy, only to discover it displayed nothing but a galaxy of purple lines. Best Buy employees later confirmed the TV was literally marked non-functional. If your discount requires ignoring visible damage, you bought hope, not electronics. 12. The air fryer that wasn't on sale. A woman fought through a crowd, snagged an air fryer, and proudly announced she saved $120. It wasn't until she reached the checkout line that she learned the item was not discounted at all. She simply grabbed the wrong model. Embarrassed but determined, she bought it anyway to honor the effort it took to acquire. She told friends it was symbolic savings. When pride costs more than the product, the sale has defeated you. 13. The entire shelf of random DVDs. A man in his 20s purchased every DVD on a clearance rack simply because people around him were grabbing them. He didn't look at a single title until he got home, where he discovered he now owned 48 copies of a fitness DVD from 2009 and 2 copies of a documentary about Canadian geese. He doesn't own a DVD player. If your shopping list is determined by strangers' hands, you're not a customer, you're a mirror. 14. The 3 a.m. wrong size mattress. At 3 a.m., after hours of chaotic shopping, a couple impulsively bought a king-size mattress because everyone else was grabbing one. Unfortunately, they live in a studio apartment and sleep on a full-size frame. The mattress blocked their front door, forcing them to climb over it for 2 weeks before returning it. Delivery workers reportedly laughed the entire pickup process. When your bed prevents you from leaving your home, the problem isn't sleep quality. 15. The 12-can soup tower. A shopper grabbed a discounted multi-pack of canned soup, assuming it was a doorbuster essential. Only later did he realize he had purchased 12 cans of clam chowder, a soup he hates, but bought because the crowd looked excited. He tried donating it, but even the food bank politely declined because of expiration dates from another decade. If peer pressure affects your soup inventory, you need new priorities. 16. The wrong gaming console. A father rushed into a store, snatched the last console box on the shelf, and proudly presented it to his son, only to discover at home that it was a demo box filled with styrofoam. Store policy prohibited returns on empty promotional units accidentally removed by customers. The child reportedly patted his dad's shoulder and said, "It's okay, we tried." Any purchase that ends in group therapy was not a deal. 17. The 50-pack of batteries for no devices. A woman purchased an industrial-size battery pack on sale, believing she would eventually use them for something important. At home, she realized none of her belongings needed that battery type, and modern devices use rechargeable ports anyway. She now stores the batteries next to her expired coupons, a shrine to irrational consumer hope. If your batteries have no destiny, neither did your purchase. 18. The blender bloodbath. A man grabbed a discounted blender box during a chaotic crowd surge, only to realize at checkout it contained 2 lids, 0 blades, and someone's discarded fast food napkin. Instead of giving up, he bought it anyway, because it felt wrong to put it back. Employees labeled this phenomenon pity purchasing. When empathy applies to defective appliances, capitalism has won. 19. The wrong-sized clothing haul. One woman bought 8 pairs of jeans during a 70% off clothing blitz, only to realize she had accidentally picked up every size except her own. When asked why she didn't check labels, she said, "There was no time. It was life or death." She later tried to resell them online, but accidentally shipped the wrong sizes again. If chaos affects both the buying and the selling, retail has consumed you. 20. The mystery outdoor tool everyone wanted. During a particularly wild sale, customers were seen fighting over a pallet of outdoor tools wrapped in opaque plastic. A man finally secured one, only to discover he had purchased a large neon orange post hole digger, a tool he did not recognize, understand, or want. He displayed it in his living room for a week to remind myself of the struggle. If the item's purpose is unknown even after purchase, that's not a product, it's a monument. 21. The extended warranty on a $6 item. One shopper proudly purchased a $6 handheld fan, then allowed the cashier to upsell her on a $24 extended warranty for peace of mind. She insisted it was a smart investment because the fan looked delicate, and she wanted to protect it for years to come. The warranty paperwork was longer than the product manual and cost 4 times the value of the item itself. When your insurance premium is higher than your asset, you're not protecting a purchase, you're sponsoring corporate comedy. 22. The smartphone bought on a 48-month plan. A man couldn't resist a $200 off phone deal, not realizing the discount only applied if he financed it through a 4-year installment plan. By the time he finished paying, the phone would be older than 2 generations of future models. He bragged about the savings until someone explained interest rates to him, at which point he quietly left a family gathering. If your device ages faster than your payment plan ends, the deal owns you. 23. The credit card with a holiday APR trap. A woman applied for a store credit card to get an extra 10% off a blender, only to discover the card carried a 29.9% APR and a $120 annual fee. She used it once for the discount and then forgot to cancel it, racking up penalties until she'd essentially purchased 7 blenders. She now keeps the card locked in a drawer for emotional distance. When a blender ruins your credit score, the sale was not a blessing. 24. The fake doorbuster vacuum deal. A man bought a vacuum that appeared to be discounted from $399 to $199, not realizing the original price had quietly been raised days before the sale. He celebrated the massive win and posted his receipt online, where commenters showed him the same model had been $149 for months. He responded by deleting the post and pretending the vacuum was a gift. If the bargain needs time travel to make sense, it wasn't a bargain. 25. The subscription box no one wanted. One woman signed up for a subscription box service because the Black Friday deal offered the first month for 90% off. She forgot to cancel, resulting in 12 months of random items she neither needed nor recognized. Her closet slowly filled with artisanal beard oils, luxury pickles, and socks with quotes from philosophers she couldn't pronounce. If a discount forces you into a year-long relationship with nonsense, cancel yourself before it cancels your space. 26. The 0% financing trap. A shopper grabbed a 0% interest for 12 months deal on a $90 kitchen appliance, thinking it was a hack for building credit. He missed one payment, instantly triggering backdated 22% interest that turned the gadget into a $214 mistake. The appliance broke after 3 uses, but the debt lived on like a haunting. When the interest outlasts the product, the real purchase was regret. 27. The buy two, save nothing deal. A woman bought 2 laptops under a BOGO half-off promotion, only to discover the sale applied to 2 different models, one of which she didn't want. She tried returning the unwanted one alone, but store policy reversed the discount, charging her full price for the remaining one. She kept both laptops out of spite and financial inertia. If returning something costs more than buying it, capitalism has checkmated you. 28. The holiday store gift card paradox. A man bought $300 worth of store gift cards because the promotion offered a bonus $10 card for every $100 spent. He didn't realize the cards expired in 3 months, long before he planned to use them. He spent the next weeks panic buying random items just to avoid wasting money he'd already wasted. When you shop to avoid losing money you spent shopping, the loop is complete. 29. The duplicate online order disaster. A woman refreshed the checkout page during a glitch and accidentally placed 6 identical orders for the same kitchen appliance. Instead of canceling, she convinced herself she could resell them for profit. She learned the truth 2 weeks later. No one wants her model, even for free. 4 remain unopened in her hallway. If your investment plan involves panic and cardboard, you're not an entrepreneur, you're a collector of mistakes. 30. The instant rebate that wasn't. A shopper purchased a $600 espresso machine advertised with a $200 instant rebate, only to find the rebate was actually a mail-in form requiring printed receipts, barcodes, and a 6-week processing period. He lost the paperwork within 24 hours and ended up paying full price for something he barely uses. If your discount depends on administrative survival, it's not a deal, it's a test. 31. The industrial meat slicer family. Didn't need. A family in Texas bought an industrial-grade deli meat slicer, even though none of them cook, entertain guests, or consume meat in sliced form. They were hypnotized by the 67% off sticker and imagined becoming sandwich people. Once home, they discovered it weighed 90 pounds and required electrical wiring they didn't have. It now sits on their dining table like a metallic altar to questionable ambition. If your appliance requires an electrician, a permit, and a lifestyle you don't have, the deal was delusion. 32. The inflatable kayak for someone who can't swim. A man proudly purchased an inflatable kayak despite being unable to swim, living nowhere near water, and having no plans to learn water sports. He claimed it was aspirational buying. When he inflated it in his living room, it touched all 4 walls simultaneously, trapping him in a nylon prison of his own dreams. His family suggested returning it, but he said the kayak represented freedom. If your purchase symbolizes freedom but physically traps you, symbolism has failed. 33. The life-size medieval knight armor. One shopper acquired a full steel suit of knight armor because it was half off and looked powerful. He underestimated its weight, getting stuck halfway inside while trying it on. Firefighters had to cut him free in a process witnesses described as the world's saddest Renaissance fair. He still keeps the armor in his hallway as a reminder of both courage and stupidity. When your bargain requires first responders, it was never meant for you. 34. The 50-pound bag of glitter. A woman bought a 50-pound industrial bag of glitter, imagining holiday crafts for years. The moment she opened it, a small, static charge caused an explosion of shimmering chaos that coated every surface of her house. Weeks later, her dog still sparkled. The glitter resisted vacuuming, mopping, and emotional breakdowns. If your purchase permanently alters your home's ecosystem, you didn't buy decor, you bought a curse. 35. The giant inflatable unicorn pool float without a pool. A teenager purchased a massive unicorn pool float big enough to seat 6 people. He does not own a pool, live near a pool, or know anyone with a pool. He inflated it anyway in his backyard, where wind immediately picked it up and sailed it across the neighborhood like a mythological rogue balloon. Neighbors reported spotting it 3 blocks away, lodged in a tree. If your purchase migrates without you, it does not belong to your life. 36. The commercial popcorn machine for one person. A lonely bachelor bought a commercial 8-kernel-at-a-time popcorn machine because it made me feel like a movie theater owner. He later learned it requires constant cleaning, special oil, and a commitment to buttery chaos no civilian should endure. After 2 days of non-stop popping, his apartment smelled like a carnival refused to leave. If your kitchen turns into a concession stand, the sale manipulated your identity. 37. The 20-pound protein powder purchased by someone who doesn't exercise. A shopper bought an enormous tub of protein powder purely because it was marked down from $129.99 to $29.99. He doesn't work out, eats mostly snacks, and cannot digest whey. The powder now resides above his refrigerator like a nutritional monument to impulsive fantasy. He has considered gifting it, but fears the message it sends. If your purchase contradicts your lifestyle, it's not fitness, it's fiction. 38. The night vision goggles disaster. One man bought night vision goggles for home safety, believing the discount made him tactical. He wore them around his dark house to patrol, immediately misjudged distance, and crashed into his kitchen island. His wife confiscated them for marriage safety. He now insists the goggles were defective, not his spatial awareness. If your gear makes you more dangerous than burglars, the threat is you. 39. The robot vacuum that terrified the pets. A family bought a high-end robot vacuum because the sale made it irresistible. The moment they activated it, their pets freaked out, resulting in a house-wide chase scene that sent lamps, picture frames, and dignity crashing to the floor. The vacuum, panicked by obstacles, got stuck under a couch and screamed in error beeps. If a cleaning device causes more destruction than dirt, that's not automation, that's chaos. 40. The 8-foot decorative clock with no wall space. A couple bought a huge vintage-style clock because it was 85% off, forgetting they lived in a small apartment with barely any free wall space. After assembling it, they realized it didn't fit anywhere. Not the living room, not the hallway, not even sideways behind a couch. It now leans awkwardly in a corner, silently judging their choices. When your decor becomes an emotional burden, your discount defeated you. 41. The man who bought a mannequin because it looked friendly. A man purchased a full-sized female mannequin during a Black Friday clearance event because it was 50% off and seemed polite. He wheeled it around the store, greeting other shoppers like they were meeting his new companion. When he got home, his family refused to let the mannequin inside, so he stored it in the garage, where it repeatedly startled the neighbors. The mannequin now stands in a raincoat, silently haunting the property. If your purchase requires a restraining order from your own family, reconsider your impulse buying habits. 42. The experimental VR headset buyer who gets motion sick. A shopper with a well-known history of motion sickness bought an advanced VR headset because you can't skip a deal like that. He made it 3 minutes into the tutorial before collapsing onto the carpet and declaring he had seen too much. He now uses the $600 device as a bookend because he refuses to let it win. His friends say he still gets dizzy looking at the box. If your body rejects your purchase on site, technology is not the issue. 43. The woman who bought a drone she can't legally fly. A woman bought a high-end drone even though her city strictly prohibits recreational drone use. She claimed she would find creative loopholes, only to realize the drone requires registration, certification, and an aviation map she cannot read. When she attempted a test flight indoors, the drone attacked her Christmas tree and shredded an ornament. If your gadget commits property damage before leaving the house, it's not a hobby, it's a hazard. 44. The 3D printer for someone who doesn't know what 3D printing is. A man impulsively bought a 3D printer thinking it worked like a photocopier, but with objects. After unboxing it, he was horrified to discover he had to learn software, calibration, and filament temperatures. His first print melted into a plastic puddle resembling modern art. He now tells visitors it's a conceptual sculpture about lost potential. If your purchase requires a new degree, the discount wasn't worth the education. 45. The industrial tent for a backyard the size of a doormat. One couple bought a 20-person industrial tent for a Black Friday price so low they couldn't resist. Unfortunately, they live in a townhouse with a backyard slightly larger than a welcome mat. When they tried assembling it, the tent smothered the fence, clothesline, and half their patio furniture. They abandoned it mid-build when a neighbor asked if they were starting a cult. If your tent creates neighborhood concern, you bought ambition, not shelter. 46. The 10-foot holiday nutcracker with no doorway clearance. A man bought a massive wooden nutcracker statue for his holiday display without measuring his doorway. After 3 hours of trying various angles, he realized it would never fit inside. Instead of returning it, he left it on the porch, where it terrified delivery drivers and caused 2 Amazon workers to file incident reports. If your decor requires architectural renovation, the sale seduced you. 47. The karaoke machine for someone who hates singing. A woman purchased a professional karaoke system, even though she hates singing and refuses to perform in public. Her justification? It was 80% off and looked powerful. When friends begged her to try it, she froze, panicked, then declared the machine too emotionally loud. It now sits in a corner unplugged, radiating unused potential. When your purchase contradicts your personality, it's not self-improvement, it's self-confusion. 48. The buffet warmer for someone who never hosts anything. A bachelor bought a restaurant-grade buffet food warmer because someday I'll throw a party. He has never thrown a party. He doesn't even own enough chairs for more than one guest. The warmer sits in its box, silently mocking him every time he orders takeout for one and places the bag on top of it. If your purchase requires a social life you don't have, the problem isn't the food warmer. 49. The electric skateboard for someone who can't stand on a skateboard. A middle-aged man convinced himself he was still young and bought an electric skateboard to feel alive. He immediately fell during his first attempt, injuring his wrist and pride simultaneously. He now uses the skateboard as a decorative piece leaning against his wall, claiming it's a conversation starter. If your adrenaline purchase causes immediate medical bills, you misread the assignment. 50. The military-grade flashlight man just felt called to. A shopper bought a military-grade tactical flashlight bright enough to signal aircraft, despite having no outdoor hobbies, emergencies, or tactical needs. When he turned it on inside his bathroom, he blinded himself for 30 seconds and scared his cat so badly it lived under the couch for a week. He now stores the flashlight in a drawer labeled, "Use with caution" or "Don't." If your flashlight poses a greater threat than darkness, maybe stick to lamps. If you've made it this far, congratulations! You've survived a guided psychological tour through one of humanity's most chaotic traditions, Black Friday shopping. 50 purchases, each more baffling than the last, have revealed what happens when discounts collide with adrenaline, sleep deprivation, and a nationwide desire to feel victorious over a piece of cardboard. We've watched people buy 5 toasters for no reason, fill their homes with apocalypse-level quantities of mustard, mistake empty display boxes for valuable electronics, and finance small kitchen appliances like luxury cars. We've witnessed kayaks purchased by people who fear water, night vision goggles used strictly for injuring oneself, and protein powder purchased by someone whose closest relationship with exercise is walking past a gym. And somehow, the deeper we go, the clearer the pattern becomes. Black Friday is less about saving money and more about proving to yourself and society that you are capable of winning a battle nobody asked you to fight. What begins as a quest for deals quickly turns into a modern mythological journey where every shopper becomes both hero and villain in their own financial tragedy. People sprint, shove, stack, hoard, misjudge, overcalculate, underthink, and ultimately emerge clutching an object they never wanted, whispering, "It was on sale. I had to." These purchases aren't just mistakes. They're artifacts of emotion, fear of missing out, pressure to compete, the delusional confidence of sleep-deprived bargain hunters, and the irresistible pull of a bright red sticker that promises value but often delivers chaos. Take a breath, because if these 50 purchases taught us anything, it's this. Black Friday doesn't reveal what people need. It reveals what happens when reason takes the day off and consumer instinct takes the wheel. And now, after sifting through 50 of the most bewildering, illogical, financially reckless, emotionally compromised purchases ever made during Black Friday, one conclusion stands above the discounted rubble. Human beings were absolutely not built for flash sales. Every purchase we've explored, from the industrial deli slicer that could feed a small army, to the inflatable kayak owned by a man who fears water, to the glitter explosion that permanently altered a home's climate, reflects a deeper truth about the human mind. When faced with a bright red 80% off sticker, something ancient wakes up inside us. Something impulsive, something unwise, something that whispers, "You might not need this, but what if you regret not buying it?" It's the psychology of scarcity mixed with the adrenaline of competition, a cocktail potent enough to override logic, mathematics, spatial awareness, and sometimes basic motor skills. Black Friday is not just a shopping event. It is the annual stress test of human judgment, and every year, judgment fails spectacularly. But perhaps that's what makes it fascinating. These aren't merely bad purchases. They are moments, tiny, chaotic snapshots of people trying to fill a void, win a contest, justify a decision, or rewrite the version of themselves they wish they were. People don't buy 40 years' worth of batteries because they need them. They buy them because for 5 glorious seconds, they imagine themselves as competent, prepared adults dominating the universe through organized power storage. And isn't that the beauty of it? Holidays expose who we really are. Messy, hopeful, impulsive, incredibly optimistic creatures who believe a blender or a 3D printer or a tactical flashlight might somehow upgrade our lives. Not because the item has meaning, but because buying it feels like taking control in a world where control is rare. Black Friday reminds us that people don't shop for products, they shop for possibilities. The possibility of becoming smarter, cooler, more productive, more adventurous, more sophisticated, more athletic, more organized, more prepared for emergencies that will absolutely never happen. And that hope, misdirected as it may be, is deeply human. So as we close this case file, remember this. Every ridiculous item bought on Black Friday, every unopened gadget in a closet, every oversized decoration trapped in a doorway, every impulsive purchase whispered into existence by a sale tag, all of it tells a story. A story of people trying, failing, dreaming, deluding, regretting, laughing, and ultimately learning nothing at all. Because next Black Friday, we'll do it all over again. Proudly, chaotically, stupidly. This has been the Absurdist Files, where logic takes the day off and impulse buys write the jokes.